It's Andressa Maia here, and what can I say? I'm back. Well, I've been promising myself and promising many of my followers who message me every now and then saying, I miss your videos while you're not on YouTube anymore. And I've been promising them and promising myself, as I said, that I would come back to YouTube and start making videos again. It's definitely something I really miss a lot. I miss you guys. And I think that this is a perfect time to be back because I think we need to talk about the most important thing that will keep you safe if you come to Rio de Janeiro and if you come to Brazil. But let's talk about Rio de Janeiro because, as you guys know, I live in Rio, and if you are on social media or if you watch the news, you probably know what happened here in Rio yesterday. This huge police operation against the biggest criminal organization here in Rio. Let me tell you a little bit how was the situation yesterday. I went to work. In the morning, we knew that there was this police operation going on, but something that I usually tell my students or even people who ask me, is it safe to go to Rio? And I always tell them, look, there are places and places. So usually, if you come to visit Rio, you will be in South Zone like Copacabana, Leblon. Even Barra da Tijuca is a neighborhood where tourists visit, and these locations are not dangerous. Well, there are those tips for safety that you should be aware. It doesn't matter the neighborhood you are, like be careful with your cell phone when you walk on the street. Try to not to go through like desert roads and stuff like this. But anyway, I mean, there are dangerous neighborhoods and there are fine neighborhoods, places where, you know, things like what happened yesterday wouldn't happen, okay? So, as we were watching the news and we heard about this operation, people in general were like, okay, just another day in Rio. And then as the day was passing, the situation started to get bigger and bigger, okay? And when it was about lunchtime, where I work, everybody was like, okay, are we going home? Are we all leaving now? Because the situation on the streets are crazy, many roads are closed, many buses are being stopped, and there is traffic jam in many areas, and people are getting afraid if they will be able to get to their homes, and all that tension in the air. And we were watching the news all the time to hear about the traffic, to hear about the transportation, like public transportation. How are the buses? How is the subway? How are the trains? Where can we go? What roads are closed? What roads should we avoid? And we were watching the news, and eventually everybody left work. I was afraid of going home. The neighborhood where I live is not affected by any of this, but the real danger is the journey home. Like we were afraid that we could find blocked streets because this happened in many streets. Buses and other vehicles were used to block the streets, and people had to walk for many miles to get to a bus stop, to get to the train station or subway station. The subway station was crowded. Everybody was trying to go home at the same time. So yes, it was chaos. It was chaotic. And today, the day started better. I mean, I'm talking about, going to work and being able to get on a bus. So the situation today was fine. And we will see how the next days will be. But my point here is, even if you were in South Zone yesterday or in a neighborhood that was not affected by all this, the situation itself was scary, okay? It was scary for people who live here, and they were like, what is going on? We are used to police operations, we are used to things going on in the communities, but the situation was bigger, was, you probably have seen videos and pictures on the news, but my point is, if the situation was scary for people who live here and are used to this every day, imagine for a tourist. Imagine for someone who is visiting the city and all of a sudden is watching the news and all that chaos and people scared trying to get home and the traffic jam, and all of a sudden all the shops shut down, and that's my point in this video. There are many videos out there telling about safety tips. You have to be careful with your cell phone. You shouldn't, take public transportation late in the evening and walk alone on the streets when it's dark, and all these safety tips that are obvious. But what I want to tell you is, the most important thing to keep you safe in Rio de Janeiro is being able to communicate, being able to understand the language. Because in a situation like yesterday, even people who live here were relying on the news to know where was safe. So if you were not able to understand the news, you would feel lost. And if you are not able to communicate and ask people on the street, like, what's going on? Where should I go? Should I stay or should I go? The situation would be really scary. So my most important advice for you, if you intend to come to Brazil, if you intend to visit Rio, is learn the language. It might sound like, okay, you are just trying to advertise yourself or your work. Yes, I'm a teacher, and being a teacher and knowing my students and their experience, their life experience, the ones that have friends and relatives and relationships here in Brazil, or the ones that visit Brazil, I know how being able to communicate was very important for them. And I know how it is important in situations like what happened yesterday. So, I have really good news for you. If you want to learn Portuguese, if you are already learning, you need to know Best Way Portuguese. And I know there are many websites and many platforms out there where you can find online teachers, but this one is specific for Brazilian Portuguese learners. And there you can find many teachers that have many years of experience in teaching Brazilian Portuguese. You can book a lesson with me there, but also with any other teacher, which will even increase your experience in learning, because you can book a lesson with a teacher from Rio de Janeiro on 1 week, and then you can book a lesson with a teacher from the Northeast in the next week. So you can have this experience with different accents and different points of view about culture, Brazilian culture. Honestly, this is an opportunity to have a really rich learning experience. And the best thing is that you can get a 10% discount if you use my FALANDONISSO voucher. So you can just go to the website, you can check all the profiles of the teachers there, you can find a teacher that you feel like learning from them, and then you can use the voucher FALANDONISSO and you can get a 10% discount in your class. So this is the moment to start learning or maybe restart learning if you have stopped, this is the time. As I'm back, you should come back as well. And let me know in the comments, what would you like to learn? How is your learning experience so far? What are you struggling when learning Brazilian Portuguese? Because now that I'm back, I will help you with my next videos. Thank you for watching and see you. Bye bye.